2021 has come and gone, and today is going to be sort of a year in review. So I made a lot of YouTube videos and used a lot of smart home tech over the past year, and today I just want to share with you my personal favorite smart home products of 2021. Let's go! Yo, what's up guys? Thanks so much for joining me today. If you're new here, my name is Shane and this channel is all about building an easy smart home using Apple's HomeKit platform with new videos published every Sunday. And yeah, it's hard to believe that this right here is going to be the last video of 2021. Big thanks to all of you who have been watching and joining me on this smart home journey over the past year or even longer. I get asked all the time, what are my favorite cameras or my favorite lights or my favorite this or that. So I thought today it would be fun to just share the products that I have really enjoyed over the past year, 2021. Now, everything I mentioned today wasn't necessarily new in 2021. Some were, but not all. And these are just the products that I've really used and enjoyed a lot, you know, in my own smart home setup over the past year. And as usual, I will put links to everything we talk about down below in case you're interested. Those are affiliate links that do help out the channel, so it's always much appreciated if you use those when you're purchasing new products. Quick disclaimer, I do want to mention that this video is not sponsored by anybody, and a lot of the products mentioned were sent to me at some point in the past for review, for free. Not all of them, but some of them were, so did want to mention that, but you know, that doesn't influence this video at all. These are genuinely the products that I've enjoyed using that I want to share with you. All right, so first up, let's jump right in and get this one out of the way. I've got to mention them both, and that is the HomePod Mini and the Apple TV 4K. Kind of a given, but the HomePod Mini was originally released at the end of 2020, but it was, you know, over the past year, 2021, where I and many others started putting these things all over the house. I've done a number of videos on different ways I use them and how we use them here in my house. You know, having an easy multi-room audio setup with features like intercom has just been fantastic for us in my house. 2021 brought us all those fun new colors for the HomePod Mini, if that's something you're into. And we did also get updates in the past year, like the ability to use the HomePod Minis as default speakers for your TV, which is something I've also enjoyed doing. And of course, speaking of TV, we did get that updated Apple TV 4K in 2021. Now this wasn't a huge update, but it did bring us a new Siri remote, thread capability to the Apple TV, as well as the ability to use eARC and eARC with your HomePod Minis. And I just had to include the Apple TV 4K on this list because not only is it a HomeKit hub like the HomePod Mini, but it's just a fantastic streaming device, and I've used the Apple TV 4K exclusively for all of my TV and movie streaming for a few years now. You know, I have multiple Apple TVs in my house, and I just love them. So that has definitely been one of my favorite smart home products over the past year, and actually over the past few years, so had to include it today. All right, now moving on, I gotta mention the Logitech Circle View doorbell on today's list. This was, I think, the first official HomeKit video doorbell to be released. I had been waiting and was super excited for a product like this. Again, this was also released at the very end of 2020, but I got to use it throughout the past year. It's not perfect. I know a number of people have, you know, apparently had issues with them overheating and things like that, you know, when they're in direct sunlight, but this has not been an issue for me personally. Just I think because of my setup, I have a covered porch with very little to no direct sunlight, and I've just loved having a native HomeKit doorbell camera. I get those little video pop-ups on my Apple TV when somebody presses the doorbell. It supports HomeKit secure video, facial recognition, plus those person announcements over the HomePods are awesome. I just love that. I love having a native HomeKit video doorbell, and the Logitech Circle View video doorbell is the one that I'm using. Next, let's talk a little bit about lighting. So first, I want to mention the Nanoleaf Essentials light bulbs and strips. Now, I don't have a ton of these throughout my house, but the ones that I do have been, you know, I've been very happy with They are affordable, which is always really nice. They don't require any additional hub, which is real nice, and they support Thread, which is fantastic. That means that they don't need to connect directly to your Wi-Fi network like other light bulbs that don't require a hub. And that's because they use Thread. I found the range to be very good, and I was actually able to use a bulb during like my Halloween setup way outside where previously a Wi-Fi connected bulb, just wouldn't reach. So the range and reliability on these have been really good. And while we're on Nanoleaf, I've got to mention the Nanoleaf Elements. I really like these. I also have the shapes, which are cool, but the Elements with that, simulated wood panel finish just, to me, makes them look really nice, not only when they're lit up, at night, but also when they're off during the day. I just think these look a little more grown up, than some of the other RGB type lighting out there. They have a lot of features like touch control, and you can actually even configure the panels as HomeKit buttons if you want, which is nice. And since we're talking about lighting, another one that was released in 2021 that really impressed me was the Onvis Kameleon Lightstrip. Now this is a Wi-Fi connected light strip, but I was pleasantly surprised here because I'm honestly not a huge fan of some of the other Onvis stuff that I've tried, but I think I had more fun playing with and setting up this light strip than I've had with any other light strip before. The effects and the features that this thing has and can do is just incredible. Again, it does connect via Wi-Fi, so you don't get Thread connection like you do with the Nanoleaf strips. But these are just really cool, very affordable, with tons of cool effects and features. So I had to put this on the list. I have one of these where I have one in the studio here, and I actually have one in my daughter's room who just loves all the effects, the music modes and stuff like that. So really cool light strips by Onvis. I gotta put the Twinkly Christmas lights on the list. I've loved these things for a few years now, but they've recently gained official HomeKit support, and I'm already looking forward to next Christmas so I can break these things out and put them on the tree again. Now next I want to talk a little bit about smart shades or smart blinds. 2021 was kind of a year that I personally went all in on my windows. First of all, I did install some Lutron Serena shades in my bedroom. Now, these aren't new, they've been around for a while, but man, are they just amazing. As of the end of 2021, these are, I think, hands down the nicest, most premium smart home product that I've got in my smart home setup. And I love that I can also control them from the Pico remote along with my other Lutron fan and dimmer switches. I could go on and on about how amazing these things are, but they do come at a cost, a very high cost actually. If you can afford to put these Lutron Serena shades everywhere throughout your home, for sure, go for it. You won't be disappointed. But for everyone else who doesn't want to, maybe take out a second mortgage just to pay for your smart shades, I'd recommend looking at something like the Soma products. So these are made for retrofitting your existing shades or blinds. They sell the shades version and the tilt version. They released the second generation of the Soma Tilt in 2021, and I actually use these to retrofit and automate all of my existing blinds in my main living and dining area. They aren't perfect, definitely not as nice as the Lutron shades, but they do get the job done. And I've got to say, having all of these blinds made smart has been possibly my favorite smart home project of the year. It's one of those things that just is continuously gratifying. Each morning all the shades open up slowly when with the sunrise, and every evening they all close automatically when the sun sets. You can automate them to close when you leave the house and stuff like that. And since they're exposed to HomeKit, I even have a little Flic button so everyone else in the house can open or close them real easily with just the push of this button. Automating all of these blinds is just one of those things that probably saves so much time on little things over the long run. Me having to walk around and open and close all those blinds manually every day. I love natural light, so this is something that I would do a lot. Not to mention the windows that I have real high up there that previously we just couldn't control at all. So having smart blinds has definitely been a game changer in my house for sure. You may have also heard that one of my other favorite brands, Eve, is supposed to be releasing some smart shades in partnership with Khalees very soon. These shades will actually support Thread, which should be awesome. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss that once we get a chance to, check those out here on the channel. And speaking of Eve, they are one of the few companies that have pushed out a number of products that support Thread over the past year. Now, sensors aren't really something that gets me super excited, but the fact that they are pushing out these products with Thread and will support Matter in the future does get me pretty excited. They are committed to updating all of their products, I think, over the next year to support Thread. So those that don't already should over the next year. Their door and window sensor is one of those products that I use every single day, and it has performed incredibly for me. They're a little pricey, but if Thread support is important to you, then you can't go wrong with these sensors. Now, you heard me mention earlier that I use a Flic button to control all of my blinds. So those little Flic buttons were something else that I started using in 2021. They actually only gained HomeKit support via their Flic hub, I believe, at the very end of 2020. So I've used a number of these little buttons in my house to give myself and other family members a way to control, all of my smart home stuff. Just like those blinds I was talking about earlier. I really love the way that these things look and feel. A simple thing, but a great addition to a smart home. Manual control of your smart home, I'm telling you, is very important to maintain a good marriage. If your wife hates Siri as much as mine does sometimes. And I couldn't make this video and not mention the recently released Aqara G3 pan and tilt camera hub with so many features like privacy mode, human and pet tracking, gesture recognition, local storage, and support for HomeKit secure video. It can be an IR blaster, and possibly the best of all, it can act as a hub for the many Aqara child devices like smart wall switches, sensors, and even smart buttons. This thing has more features, I think, than any other camera that I've used, and I'm just a big fan of all the Aqara sensors and products that you can pair with this hub. 2021 was not the most exciting year just as far as overall advancement of the smart home industry, but many of the brands that I mentioned here today in this video continued to produce innovative and fun products for our smart home. And just because something wasn't mentioned here doesn't mean it's not a good product. Again, these are just the things that I've really enjoyed using in my smart home, and many of which were new either to me or just in general in 2021. I'm very excited to see what 2022 brings us. I have a feeling it's going to be a big year for HomeKit and just for the smart home industry as a whole. Subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on these new HomeKit videos every Sunday. And if you want to support the channel even further, consider becoming a channel member and get access to some cool perks like behind the scenes, members only Zoom calls, and access to our members Discord group. Thanks for watching today. I hope 2022 brings you lots of love, laughter, and joy. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.